Yeah, what's up for a nightcap? Chill, you know, kick back.
Welcome to the Nightcap. My name's Carolina Sanchez, and what's yours? Tonight we're diving into names and how they affect how we move in society, whether we have a very unique and different name, or if it's the same as everybody else's, or if we really grow into it. So let's dive in.
Names I'd give my future kids if it was not child abuse. First name up is October. If you know me, you know I actually love this name, like genuinely want to name my child this. I think it's so cute, and they'd go by Tobes. And then if you're gonna say, just name them Toby, no, that's a gross name. They gotta be Tobes, short for October. It's cute and it's quirky. Name number 2 is COVID, and it's spelled like that. I think it's such a cute, quirky little name, cute spelling. I love weirdly spelled names. I think if the whole coronavirus thing didn't exist, like that's so cute. It's just ruined by that. So third, we got this name, which if you look at it, you think it's Britain, but it's not. It's Britann, and they go by Brie. It's adorable. Next, we got Lexus. Like, Lincoln's a car name and a person's name, and it works. Why can't Lexus? Like, they go by Lex. It's cute. Next name is Cole, but it's spelled like that. And it's like if they're being naughty, you just like say C-O-A-L, and then they're like, ooh.
Oh my goodness, yes, that sounds like child abuse to me, but we'll ask my friends. I've got Josie Pickens, Alan Sams, and Dr. Alana here to discuss names. And Josie and Alan, you actually gave your kids some unique names.
Actually, I have 3 boys, and they all have unique names. Oldest one's name is Aiden. The middle one's name is Traylon. And then the last one, his name is, I think, the most unique. His name is Axum.
Axum.
A-X-U-M.
Okay. How do you spell Aiden? Because I feel like that's a more familiar name of the 3.
A-I-D-A-N.
A-N. Okay. Okay. Josie?
Yes, my daughter's name is Nayla. It's a Kiswahili name, so it's a East African name. We made a conscious decision to name her that. Her middle name is Maud, after my grandmother, but we wanted her name to have a meaning.
To have meaning and significance, right?
Yes.
So I feel like those names that we heard on the video, those are almost silly when you're thinking about naming your child something. I mean, October, maybe if you really love the month October, but I feel like the COVID, the cold, it sounds like child abuse. What do you think, doctor?
I think it's important to think about how often we use our name. Your name is called multiple times a day, and your name is really signifying and comes to signify who you are. It's involved in your job applications. It's involved in your school experience. Coming from a person who has a unique name, Alana was something that people butchered for many years of my life, and I still have to explain it. I still have to spell it out. I still never find it on a keychain or a t-shirt. So it's really something to think deeper than, is it cute or is it something that's catchy, but really think about significance so that you can help instill in your child pride in their name.
And I feel like that's key. Like I named my son Eros, E-R-O-S, which is a Greek god, and there was a lot that went into it. I had named him way before he was born. And I was a little hesitant on it because of my name. Like, Carolina is very common in, Eastern Europe and in Latin American countries. But here in the States, like Carolina, Carolyn Ann, like I was getting all sorts of names, and I hated it. It was annoying, right? Yeah. Like having to explain my name over and over and like decide whether or not I'm going to correct this person and deciding what the English sounding name, because it should be Carolina, but it's Carolina is how I present myself here in the US. But for my parents, like that was a common name. So I can't hate on my parents for that experience, but now it's like, choosing to name my son Eros. People say Eros. People say, they say different things, and it's like, dang it, am I putting my son through that same thing? Do you guys feel like you're setting up your kids for a lot of work and annoying times at school and in job applications and in the future?
No, I think I set, especially Axum, I think I set him up to have a really interesting story to tell about who he is, about where he comes from, about what it means to him. And I think it'll be a great conversation starter. I think it'll be a great icebreaker for any context, whether he's in a job interview or whether he's meeting friends, or, it just kind of works all the way across the board. Just like she said, a way for him to feel proud about who he is and about, where he comes from and what he really believes about himself.
And what exactly does Axum mean?
Okay, so Axum it's derived from an ancient African civilization called the Axumite kingdom, Kingdom of Axum. And it was a really great civilization. They really thrived for a long time. And I was just doing some research about names, and I was like, man, I want my son's name to mean something because my name is Alan.
You can find your name on a T-shirt and some
There's
keychains.
one reason for my name. So I wanted him to have something that he could be proud of. You know what I'm saying?
And Josie, what about Nyla?
Yes, Nayla.
Nayla.
So
see, I'm already messing it up.
exactly that.
So
So
Nayla's.
people mispronounce her name often, but one of the things that I've learned her to do is just politely correct people. And I think that teaches her autonomy, that teaches her that her name matters and she matters. And, you know, as a professor, even when I'm in the classroom and I have students with difficult names, I will have a chart where I sound out or write out the sounds of their names because names are important and people should be able to be called what their name is.
That
And there
is
shouldn't be a
so
conflict
thoughtful.
around that.
I wish teachers and grade teachers were more like you because I got Carolina for like the first 3 months of every school year before they finally got my name correct. But actually coming up, we have a couple people who have very unique names and we want to hear their journey. But first, I'm a little thirsty and so are the people here on the couch. So we're gonna head over to Marcus who's mixing something up. Welcome back to the Nightcap. We've been talking about names, but I'm behind the bar now with my guy Marcus Carter because you're here to do what? Back that glass up, baby. Okay, Marcus, you got quite a normal name, but you have a unique nickname, 8?
Yes.
Where does that come from?
So it was the hour I was born, and then most of the time when, especially with my mom, she would get mad at me, and she'd be like, you know, something 8, and I never understood it until I asked her, and she was like, "Oh, that was the hour you were born," and it was one of the painfulest times of my life. And I was like, "Oh,
Okay.
cool."
So how do you feel about the nickname 8 then?
I think it's unique, especially at the fact that when she told me that, and people kind of used it for all other things, so they'd be like crazy 8 or anything else they want to try and put in front of it. Right now, I know most of the time a lot of my handles say Project 8. Because I believe that everybody is their own greatest project.
Oh, I love that. Okay, and you owned the nickname, whether it was the most painful time of your mom's life or not.
Yes.
All right, but you're actually making something beautiful. What is this?
So this is a virgin Pearl Harbor.
What's in it?
So right now we're going to be using agave. We're going to use seed lip. We're going to use melon liqueur. We're using lime juice, and then just some pineapple juice.
Love it. All right, let's shake it up.
Okay. I always say, always use your juices first, because whether you mess up or whatnot, you don't want to waste your liquor,
Okay,
even if it is non-alcoholic.
gotcha. And Seed Lip is, we've had it a few times. Seed Lip is a line of non-alcoholic spirits, right?
Yes. So Seed Lip is a line of non-alcoholic spirits. Right now, the version we're using is Groove 42. Okay. So this one has more of a citrus taste to it. Most of the time, you want to try and replace it with vodka drinks.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to do 0.5 of pineapple juice. Then we're going to do 0.5 of lime juice.
Easy peasy. People can do this at home.
Oh, absolutely. So these ingredients you can find at any grocery store. You don't have to necessarily go to the liquor store or anything like that. And we're going to use 0.5 of melon liqueur.
I'm loving this, just 0.5. You're not changing it up to 1 ounce of this, 1 ounce of that.
All right. And then for the seed lip, we're going to do 2 ounces.
Okay. A little bit more of the.
A little bit more.
A little bit.
Okay. So now we're also going to add something kind of unique to this one too as well. We're going to add an egg white.
Ooh.
Okay.
Why do we add egg whites to our cocktails?
It helps the citrus flavor a lot. And then also it pulls off a really great look at the end when you're pouring it into a martini glass, a rocks glass, or any kind of glass. And it gives it that nice frothy top to it.
Yes.
Okay. And now just for an added little touch for everybody, if you have ginger beer at your house, just put a little bit inside of the glass right before. Now it's not necessary, you have to, but bartending is your own special trait. And you can make it any kind of way you would like.
And yours is to have some ginger beer. Oh, that's so pretty and frothy. And you added some extra protein into my life, which I need, so that's great.
Here you are.
All right, let's see what this is all about. Oh yeah, that's great. We're gonna take this to the couch. And actually, joining us on the couch are two people with very unique names to discuss what their life was like growing up and how they grew into them. So stick around. Welcome back to the Nightcap. We've been talking about names and how they affect us and how we move in society, but we've been talking with parents and Dr. Alana. Joining me now is my friend Barbie, Chris Riddle, to join Josie, Alan, and Dr. Alana. So, Barbie, your name is so unique because it's Barbie.
Barbie.
How's it been being Barbie?
I think growing up, I didn't like it as much. I don't think I was ever like explicitly bullied over it, but I think like adults had a different reaction to it. Like I remember the meanest thing a person ever said to me was an adult when I was a teenager who said, "Did your parents hate you?" And I think that was like more of a judgment of like my parents than me, because obviously like it wasn't in my control. And like now that I'm older and I see these wild names, I get it. But I also think it's unnecessary. And now that I'm older, I love it.
Yeah.
Say what you want about my name. Don't believe it's my name. It's cool. I love it. It's unique. And I think it's like memorable and people remember me.
Yes, and your brother, whose name is
Ken.
Ken.
It's Ken.
Barbie.
So it's always the follow-up. It's a great icebreaker. It really
Such a
is.
great icebreaker. I met you and I was like, Barbie. Like you take the second of like, that's really your name.
Sometimes I have to like pull out my ID, show it to people.
Because they
I
don't believe
swear
you.
it's my real name.
I didn't change it. I didn't make it that
I did
way.
not change it, and I'm not going to.
I love that. And Chris, your last name is Riddle.
Yeah.
But what's unique about you is because Chris, a lot of people have the name Chris,
Yeah.
Christian, or Christopher. But Riddle, you've taken that on as an identity.
Well, from a young age, people always called me Riddler or expected me to be funny, to tell jokes. And I guess I just always had a sense of humor, so I always had jokes. And as I got older, the question mark just every day's full of questions. So I just kind of took the question mark as like my symbol. And later on in life, I started doing stand-up comedy, and now everybody is like, is that some kind of stage name? And it's like, no, that's my real name.
And you grew into that.
And I grew into it.
That's
yeah.
awesome. I mean, that's what you guys are hoping for, right? As parents who have named your kids with really strong names, is that hopefully, like Barbie and Chris, they, grow into them and, have their place in society where they're standing tall and proud of their names.
Absolutely.
Is that the hope?
Embrace it, especially when our names have meaning or they have significance. Like, embrace it, be proud of it, and have fun.
I mean, think about the stages in life that you go through where you're really trying to figure out who you are. I mean, what better way to kind of solidify that, is to be like, start with your name, start with who you are, from the jump. So.
Yeah.
And Doctor, I mean, we heard Barbie say, it was the biggest insult was them criticizing the parents. Yeah. And obviously these names are powerful and they have meaning, it seems, but, you do have the ones that are
Questionable,
ridiculous, and almost like mean and hurtful to the kids.
Sure.
What do you say to kids who have to grow up with these names that their parents have chosen?
I think what I would say to many of them is that you can change your name. There is a legal process for doing that, and there are circumstances where that is warranted. So I validate for that person that, our name is such an important core part of our identity that if you've received a name that is ultimately causing you pain in your life, you are empowered to change it. I think our name is such a core component of who we are that it's important to investigate, like, what does my name mean? Where did it come from? But I think as a parent, it's important for us to think about with empathy what it means for us to name our children, right? And think about, it could lead to conflict with the parent and the child if you name your kid something that is damaging to them. So we want to think about, people make all kinds of assumptions in our society about a name. As soon as they see it, they make assumptions about gender, about ethnicity. They make assumptions about a person's intellect. And they make assumptions just about, and lots of stereotypes about who that person is going to be. And so when you're thinking through the naming of your children, don't just think about what's cute to you or what sounds good or what's funny. really inhabit the experience of what they will have through life. Because many people have common names, and even that can become a traumatizing experience when you're the fifth.
Josie, what are you feeling? What are you feeling, Josie?
So I was named after my grandmother. Her name is Josephine, but everyone called her Josie, so my mother just named me Josie. And so throughout my life, from childhood, this guy, used it as a pickup line the other day, Josie and the Pussycats, right? Isn't that bad?
Yeah.
So bad. But yeah, so it's a very normal, everyday name and short for Josephine. But yes, throughout my entire life, because I was born in the 70s when the cartoon came out and was popular.
Yeah.
So Josie and the Pussycats forever.
Forever. And I assume you got Barbie Girl.
Oh,
Barbie
where's
World.
Ken? That's my brother's name. It's not the pickup line you think it is.
Right.
And it's really actually, I think, important to point out that we can, as a general public, can help people by not thinking that we're the first person to think of a joke or a saying, especially when you hear a name that's different. And we have this knee-jerk tendency to want to relate to people by making a comment about their name. But of course, they've heard that not once, not twice, 100 times, because I think the bigger factor is how we relate to each other's names in general. Because you can be teased for common names, you can be teased for a unique name. The question becomes, why do we do so much harmful teasing?
Let's not be harmful teasers. All right, well, stick around because we'll be right back. And we're going to end this on a happy note. No teasing, all right? But I'm teasing you to come back, so come back. Welcome back to the Nightcap. We've been talking about names and how they affect us as people and how we move in and through society. We've got Dr. Alana, Alan, Josie, Chris, and Barbie. So I want to know, do you feel like if you didn't have the name that you do have, would you move differently in society?
I think so. I don't think that I quite embody Barbie. I try because she's bubbly, she's stylish, she does it all.
Yeah.
I strive to. But I think more so, I know that when I meet people, they're going to remember me. My name's unique. It's going to stick in their brain. And I want them to remember me in a good way.
Yeah.
I want to be nice to them. I don't know.
Yeah. No, you definitely give me the bubbly, sweet vibes for sure.
I try.
Yeah. Alan?
I'm changing my name. I plan on changing my name, especially my last name, because my last name is Sams.
Yeah, Alan
And
Sams, wow.
Yeah, I don't know it's my dad's side of the family. I don't know anything about their side of the family. I don't know nothing about it. So I'm like, I don't feel like I need to invest time in the research and all of that and going through all of that because it wasn't my responsibility to inform me of all of that in the first place. I didn't give myself this name. So I'm starting over. I'm starting a new legacy.
Okay.
I'm changing my last name to Nova.
To Nova, okay. Alan Nova?
Yes, indeed.
Okay, I love it. I'm here for this. But keeping the Alan.
Keeping the Allen, but changing it to Nova, because Nova is Axum's last name. That's what we named Axum. Axum Nova.
I love that.
And Nova comes from supernova, the collision of two stars.
Yes.
So it's kind of like that's what happened between him and his mom and I.
Yeah, I love that.
Nice.
Dr. Alana?
Yes, I love my name now. When I was younger, I think I went by my middle name sometimes because it was Nicole and other people had it. It was easier to blend in. But I think as I became older and recognized the uniqueness of Dr. Alana, especially the way that my mother chose to spell it with the U in there, it really allows me to be memorable to people. And I love A's. I always got A's on my report cards. I love that I have 3 A's in my name. I'm like, okay, for A's. I might even wear my A because I'm married to myself. So, I just think that embracing your name is really a journey. And so people shouldn't necessarily expect to have the same relationship with their name in their early life as they do later on in life.
Josie?
Yeah, I'd keep Josie. I get to honor my grandmother every day. I was named after her. She passed away a few months before I was born. And she is actually the one who told my mother that she was pregnant, according to the family, pregnant with me. Yeah. So, yeah, she was a wonderful, wonderful woman, and I get to stand on her shoulders and honor her every day. So I'm keeping
Love
it.
that. Love that.
Yeah.
Chris, I mean, you've grown into Riddle.
I've always loved it. It was always something memorable.
So memorable that you
So
got to show it
memorable.
off.
Okay. I just got some Riddler ink.
He got the ink.
Yeah.
That looks fresh.
So
Yeah. So
there
own
we
it.
go. There's
So it's a
my
part of
Riddle
you.
tattoo.
I love that.
I lean into it 100%. So much so that most of my friends know me as Riddle, not as Chris. Usually when somebody calls me Chris, I'm in trouble.
Oh, okay. All right, Riddle. You ain't in trouble here. You should have corrected me, boo. Well, thank y'all so much for sharing your journeys into your names and why you chose to name your kids the way you chose to name them. I mean, at the end of the day, what we've learned is you grow into it, identify yourself how you want to, and if you don't like your name, you can change it. All right, so cheers to you, and cheers to y'all. Thank you so much. Marcus, get on over here, boo.